Joining me now is Michael Bobbitt, a Florida resident who's staying behind in Cedar Key, Florida. Michael, great to speak with you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First, most folks around you, I understand, are evacuating. Your island is under a mandatory evacuation order, but you are staying behind. Explain that decision. This must be a terrifying thought.
So it is. I think a little less terrifying for this one because I think we're expected to miss the bulk of the storm surge here. This is going to be a high wind event. But I have several elderly neighbors that just aren't going to leave, and I think are not in a position to take care of themselves if things get really bad. So I've stayed behind with a rescue boat and some tactical gear, and I've got a little training in this. So I'm here to try to help my neighbors as best I can, but I'm not taking any unnecessary risk. I'm telling everyone that'll listen that if you can't evacuate, especially if you're anywhere down near the Tampa area, today's the day. You should leave today.
I'm glad to hear that you're doing everything you can to stay safe, and you have some training in this. Last time we spoke, not too long ago, Hurricane Helene, I think it was just in the aftermath of this. So this is the second hurricane now to hit you in just about 2 weeks. Show us a little bit behind you, the aftermath from Helene, the cleanup efforts so far, and of course, the concern of what we've been hearing, projectiles from all the debris now as this next storm hits.
Sure. So I'll flip my camera around here to give you a better look. This was what was called the Faraway Inn. This was one of our old school, old style Florida motel properties. And you can see buildings here were just completely picked up and carried out into the Gulf of Mexico just across the street here. It was the most powerful storm surge, the most powerful hurricane we've ever had here on the island. And it fairly well decimated a big portion of our town. But already we've had an incredible mobilization of volunteers and neighbors helping to put the island back together. And it's important for all of us to let you know that we'll be open for business here before you know it. But yeah, storm surge is always our biggest concern. For this storm, we think most of that surge is going to be to the south. So we'll be dealing much more with a wind event, but we fully expect to get the highest winds ever recorded in Cedar Key here in about 24 hours.
Those high winds, of course, incredibly concerning. Just looking at what's left of some of those homes, some of those buildings, how concerned are you about projectiles? You know, you can plan for everything possible in terms of storm surge, but if something gets picked up by the wind and goes right your way, there's not much you can do about it.
Sure. So we're a target-rich environment right now. There's piles of debris all over town, and we've been working as hard as we could to get it picked up, but there's just not enough time in 1 week to get all of this stuff picked up. So really the main reason to leave the island right now is that we're going to have 120-mile-an-hour projectiles flying all over town, and it's just not a place you want to be.
Of course, a lot of people have heeded the warning and gotten out. How have residents been reacting now that this is the second major storm in 2 weeks? What is the attitude amongst residents?
So it's even worse than this. This will be our fourth major hurricane in 13 months. So we're feeling totally punch drunk. And I think a lot of people, I worry, because the last storm was so bad, they think, how much worse could it possibly be? So they're just weary from it. And I'm worried that folks are going to stay behind because they think it couldn't be any worse than the one we just had. This is an entirely new and different and unique threat. You know, this is a hard scrabble town. We're not primarily a tourist destination. We're clam farmers and oystermen and commercial fishermen. So we're used to being resilient and living close to the Gulf of Mexico. But I think folks are just so weary, they're going to just try to ride it out. And I'm concerned about what the next 24 hours will bring for our little island.
Michael, I appreciate your time. Good luck to you, my friend, and hopefully everything goes well and we can speak to you again soon on the other end of this. Stay safe, please.
Thanks so much. Godspeed, Cedar Key.